the guy with the house, making it clear where the property lines stand. Now everybody is asking, what's this guy do now? This home along Harding Street sat vacant for years, all because of a boundary dispute. The MLS listing says, quote, are partially on the adjacent parcel and not included in this sale. Huh? It's such a mess that realtors don't even want to touch it. This realtor posting about it saying, quote, my job as a realtor is to help people buy and sell properties. Sometimes my job is to help people not to buy. So the house was just sold at an auction. Now what was a dispute has been taken. The owner of this lot seemed to have fenced right through the pool of the other guy's lot, splitting the garage and that pool in half. That's where we stand now. We have a brand new owner of this house, and this is how they choose to make their statement to the new owner. Lisa Sconyers is a realtor and has lived across from the two properties for years. The history is long and sordid, but the easiest way to explain it is that both lots were owned by the same person. He then sold them to the new owner, who then cleared the lots to build one big house. But that owner went into foreclosure and the lots were sold to two different people. So now this house is over the property line of the other lot. In the end, Sconyers says this could have all been avoided. The city of Orlando didn't permit this the right way. What they should have made these people do is they should have made them replat the property into two separate properties. They never did that. Now, we have reached out to both sides and the city. We're still waiting to hear back. Now, when it comes to this property here, this property owner is trying to get a petition. He's gone around to the neighbors, asking the neighbors to give him an exception, to back it up, because this lot isn't big enough for a house, to allow a house to be built there. Now the neighbors are saying, I don't know if I can back you on that, because you asked us to do that before you did this, and this problem still isn't solved. We're live in Orlando. Shannon Butler, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Hey, Alicia Little here, and I'm excited to announce that the third annual AI and Marketing Summit is here.
Now to crime down in Miami. This woman was taking out the trash in her high-rise building when she says a man came out of the elevator with a gun and forced her into her apartment. As Jim Array reports, what happened next is terrifying.
A woman who lives in a luxury Miami Beach high-rise is heading to the trash room on the 9th floor. At that same moment, the elevator opens. An intruder enters the hallway and confronts 29-year-old Kylie Holland. She says he forced her at gunpoint back into her apartment. Her fiancé, Jacob Kirstein, and his buddy are watching the Stanley Cup Finals on TV.
He pointed the gun at us, said, get on the floor. I'm taking all your cash. So we got on the floor, and he's like, I need $3,500. Not leaving.
Kirstein says he tried to reason with the home invader.
So I started to stand up and I was like, relax, like we got you, we're gonna take care of you. And he just pistol whipped me right in the head. Immediately there was a mirror right in front of me and I saw blood just shooting like a water gun out of my head.
The suspect led everyone to the elevator. They thought they were going to be executed.
I started thinking about my family, not being ready to leave them behind. The fact that, okay, I might actually die here today. Never been in a situation like that before. I've never felt more defenseless in my life.
When the elevator reached the lobby, they screamed. The suspect ran off. The 31-year-old Brian Lopez was caught just a few blocks away. Police say the phones he had just stolen led them directly to him.
Luckily, we were brought by the world's dumbest criminal. He left his bag in our kitchen with his ID.
Police told them they were lucky to walk away with their lives.
They just kept saying, you guys have no idea how lucky you are. This never plays out like this, where you guys survive and we catch the guy. This never happens like this.
We're still working on the being nice to people part. But maybe I shouldn't work on that too much because he obviously took care of the house.
Tonight, a 6 on Your Side exclusive. A Meridian man's pet, Squirrel, literally goes nuts on a would-be burglar. The man returned home last week and discovered someone broke into his house and tried to steal his guns.
The burglar able to grab a few small things before things got a little squirrely. 6 on Your Side's Lacey Darrow is live in studio with the exclusive story. Don, Michelle, some people have guard dogs, maybe even a protective cat, but it's a Meridian man's pet rodent that's being hailed a hero. Adam Pearl walked into his Meridian home Tuesday and realized something didn't seem right.
I came in the front door and, well, I saw snow prints out in the front driveway going to the back of the house. And so I thought someone's arrived because nobody usually goes through the yard.
Adam was immediately greeted by his pet squirrel Joey when he got home, but then he started noticing a few doors were open. After making his way to the back bedroom, his fear was confirmed once he started looking at his gun safe.
I started looking at it and I saw the scratches that were around the walking area. At that point, I knew somebody was definitely in here messing around.
Adam called Meridian Police, and when Officer Ashley Turner came out to take a look, Joey just had to say hello.
And during her investigations, Joey had run in the bedroom just screwing around like he always does between her legs and kind of startled her. And she said, "Oh, what was that?" "Don't worry about that. That's just Joey. Pet squirrel, you know."
Officer Turner asked Adam if Joey would bite.
I said, "Well, he usually doesn't bite, but you never know, because he is a squirrel."
Officer Turner went on her way, only to return a few hours later with some of his stolen belongings and some unbelievable news.
Well, she was the individual. He had scratches on his hand, so she asked him, "So did you get that from the squirrel?" And he says, "Yeah, damn thing kept attacking me. I wouldn't stop until I left."
Now Joey is being hailed a hero.
Nobody can believe it, because who can say they have a squirrel that guards their house? Which is crazy. You can't ask for much more than that. He's a pain in the butt, but he's great.
Adam says he thanked Joey by giving him his favorite treat. That, of course, is the candy Whoppers. Live in studio, Lacey Darrow, 6 on your side.
Who knew?
I don't know what to say about all that.
I like squirrel nuts growing up. That's about, but I've never had a squirrel as a pet. Well, there you go. A ringing endorsement to go out and get one.
No.
Oh. Guard squirrel. All right.
Google Workspace can help keep your documents and emails safe. Built on top of Google's secure.
All around us, more and more security cameras and mobile devices have face detection functions. You never know who's watching you or tagging you on some social media app. Researchers at Japan's National Institute of Informatics, however, have come up with a way to help protect privacy. It's a simple tool that can thwart computer vision algorithms that can automatically detect and possibly recognize faces. This is a prototype of the Privacy Visor, a plastic shield for the eyes that can maintain the anonymity of those who wear it. The visor consists of a basic 3D printed frame and a semi-transparent plastic film covered with small white lines or dots. It has evolved from a model that had 11 LED lights around the eyes. The latest prototype doesn't require any power. Put it on and facial recognition programs won't find you. So how does it work?
The normal growth is downward sloping. This is the rule of the graphics, okay? But so our privacy visor, it's upward sloping. It's an out of rule of the graphics. But this is one of the requirements for my privacy visor.
The angle of the visor reflects overhead light into the camera. The white patterns on its surface add to its reflective power. Algorithms that work by looking for dark areas around the eyes will be confused when seeing bright light there and won't see a face. It even works without any glasses frames holding up the film, which can be designed in a variety of patterns. After years of development, the visor is going on sale next year. This prototype version of the Privacy Visor still lets in plenty of light. It's still easy to see my surroundings, but the commercial version will be smaller and more stylish. It will still fool facial recognition programs in cameras. Now part of a crowdfunding campaign, the visor will have titanium frames and will cost at least $240 when it goes on sale in June 2016. In Tokyo, Tim Horniak, IDG News Service.
Were you sexually abused by staff, guards, or other adults in a juvenile detention center? Many victims have already received up to $580,000.
Hi, Karine. Yeah, the CHP is investigating specifically. They want to know if something on that truck was modified. They want to know when it was last serviced and what was done. And that could determine exactly why this tire came flying off the truck. Flipping in the air on the freeway, a car slammed by a 25-pound tire.
High impact rollover collision, and it just shows you, when you're simply driving down the freeway, some pretty dramatic things can happen really quick.
Despite the violent crash, the 29-year-old driver of the Kia from Panorama City was not seriously hurt and was able to walk away from her totaled car.
Thankfully, that party that was in the Kia had very minor injuries, just complaint of pain, and that's because that party was wearing a seatbelt.
It happened Thursday on the 118 East at DeSoto in Chatsworth. The tire came off the front driver's wheel of the Chevy truck and slammed into the Kia. The Kia spiraled through the air. The tire bounced across the freeway and hit the car again. All of that captured on another driver's Tesla camera. There's no indication either driver involved in the accident was speeding or driving recklessly. So for now, the CHP is investigating. It is unlikely the driver of the truck, a 24-year-old from Canoga Park, will face criminal charges in this wild wreck.
I know there's some reports that the party is trying to flee the scene, but you're simply pulling to the right shoulder, which if you can safely do that, because you don't want other cars hitting you.
By the way, the Tesla that recorded that video also was damaged from all of that flying debris. That driver also not injured. We were in touch with him today, but he did not want to talk about the crash. We're live in Woodland Hills. I'm Sandra Mitchell, KTLA 5 News. Cher, Karine, back to you.
Sandra, thank you.
Try this 10-minute ChatGPT routine every morning. Watch your workflow transform.
Let's be real. Most people over 40 use ChatGPT like it's Google. Copy, paste, ask a basic question, move on. That's not how smart people use AI. Tomorrow, we're starting the 28-day AI challenge for beginners over 40. Just 15 minutes a day to...
This is a catastrophe. American people, they don't deserve this. They don't deserve this. So many years ago, around 1987, I came out with an invention. The name is Fire Selector System. That applies for a famous handgun pistol. It's named Glock. Always looking forward for the future to help the military, to help SWAT teams, to help like a tool. I think this is my words of commitment that I am looking forward to help and to cooperate with a solution.
Running a successful accounting business is very much becoming an accountant.
All right, what you're seeing here is video from a downtown Albuquerque business as the owner tries to deter things that shouldn't be happening right outside his back door. Terry Gonzalez has owned that downtown business for 3 years, and he says he's dealt with major safety concerns for his employees and customers
since day one.
And after years of dealing with those sort of conditions, he said he decided just to take matters into his own hands. Our Emily Faith spoke with him today about that decision. So Emily, tell us about the solution that he ultimately came up with.
Well, Tessa, Trevor, it's simple, but so far it's proven to be effective. All it involves is a Ring camera, Wi-Fi, and a water sprinkler.
For the last 3 years, downtown business owner Terry Gonzalez has dealt with a lot of crazy antics.
We've just had a lot of problems with people using our back door as a bathroom or a place to shoot up or whatever.
The aftermath of trash, needles, urine, and more, creating an unsanitary and unsafe environment and an inconvenient cleaning process.
It's really hard to ask your staff to go out there and clean human feces. It's ridiculous. So we have to go through a whole process, bleach and water, and you have to put on protective gear and all that.
Through that process came a creative solution.
So we just got a Ring camera and some PVC pipe and a sprinkler and a Wi-Fi solenoid valve. And I mean, for less than $150, we set it up. If they don't leave, then we spray them with water, and that just seems to be the simplest. It's a humane solution to getting someone to stop using our back door as a bathroom.
Other business owners have taken notice and asked how they can install their own shower.
We've talked to a couple of neighboring businesses that have seen it, and that's the first question they ask is, how'd you do that?
As unique as it is, the top priority for Gonzalez is safety for his employees and customers.
We can't depend on somebody else to handle the problem for us, and we're doing what we can to combat it on our own, but do it in a safe, humane manner.
Now, some people have wondered about the legalities of this, and according to our research, it's not entirely clear. In New Mexico, to prove assault and battery, it must be committed in a, quote, rude, insolent, or angry manner. So this case, it probably falls in a gray area there. Tessa, Trevor, back to you. Yeah, and on a hot day, it may be relief. I don't know. All right. Emily, thanks.
As San Francisco struggles to deal with the fentanyl crisis, the medical community is trying to understand what the drug actually does to the human body. And the one thing you may have witnessed yourself, people so high they're literally just bent over and can't stand up.
Yeah, so what causes that stance and what are the long-term impacts? Our Building a Better Bay Area reporter, Leah Melendez, has here some answers for us tonight.
Yeah, I'm so glad I did the story. Now, the number one question people ask me is, why do people who are on fentanyl bend over so severely? Is it the drug? Is it their spine, which is somehow damaged? Well, we thought that by doing this story, people would start caring more about the harm fentanyl does to the body. People bent over, appearing as if they were frozen in place, is a common sight in San Francisco's Tenderloin district. The simple explanation?
It's a degree of loss of consciousness and a degree of loss of muscular control.
Fentanyl is responsible, but the effects of the opioid continue to linger on as the person continues with their daily life. In most cases, awake, but not able to stand up. We bumped into Andy Berger, who tried to explain his physical state at that moment. When did you last use fentanyl?
Today.
Yeah, so it's still obviously in your body.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're not able to, straighten up.
I mean, I can. It just it hurts a lot to have to do that.
Fentanyl can be both a short-acting drug and a long-acting drug. So some people, they're back upright in 45 minutes to an hour, and some people it could be longer than that.
Dr. Daniel Ciccarone is a UCSF professor of addiction medicine. He says fentanyl in long-term users takes time to clear out of the system because the drug tends to accumulate in the fat tissue. The research community has yet to determine if fentanyl impacts your spine at all. Berger, meanwhile, told us he's more concerned about his swollen legs than his back.
People's legs swell up, sores on them like that.
What researchers think might be happening there is that because the chemical is acidic, in some cases it eventually makes veins collapse.
I just didn't care about anything. Drugs was my only driving force every day.
Ben Campofreddo, once a heavy fentanyl user, weighed only 100 pounds
when a spine infection sent him to the emergency room.
I wore a hole in my leg from being in the wheelchair so long, and that got infected, and then that infection went into my spine.
Mind you, Campofreda had existing back issues. His pain is what drove him to addiction. The use of fentanyl made his condition even worse. Because of that infection, UCSF surgeons had to remove 2 of his discs, and as seen in this spine health animation, 2 implants were inserted, providing more spacing between the vertebrae. This relieved the pressure on the nerves. Campofreda now lives in Oregon and considers himself among the few able to get off fentanyl. Earlier this year, he hiked the well-known Camino de Santiago de Compostela in Spain. That's approximately 550 miles.
And how's your back?
My back is great. I'm in better shape than I've been in since I was 20. I exercise every day. I stay very active. I'm very grateful that I had the second chance at getting my life together. For now, I'm great. I'm staying healthy, and that's the most important thing to me.
Now, here in San Francisco, there is this debate over harm reduction versus abstinence. Now, Ben agrees that it can backfire if you force someone into treatment, but he also acknowledges that the reason he is clean, free of fentanyl, is because he was forced to be in that position, meaning hospitalized for his back for months and months. And he says he is grateful that he was. This coming from someone who was in the trenches. So we're not taking sides here, but this is coming from someone who's been there, done that. Yeah.
Are you looking for more in this world? Are you ready to be part of...
Indiana Task Force 1 has been activated by FEMA to respond as a search and rescue team to Florida. Consists of 80 people and in support of FEMA Region 4 ahead of the potential tropical storm Helene you just heard Tyler talking about. That storm is expected to become a tropical cyclone this week. Of course, we'll keep tabs on Task Force 1.
Court documents claim 2 police informants were killed last week by a man police say is a local drug dealer. It all started last Friday when 2 bodies were found in a river in Fort Wayne. Fox 59's Eric Graves breaks down these court documents and their connections to a drug investigation in Richmond. Eric?
Court documents say a Richmond Police Department informant was picked up at this apartment complex just a day before his body was found in a Fort Wayne river. Fort Wayne police say last Friday, volunteers cleaning up the St. Mary's River found 2 bodies inside of trash bags. The coroner identified the 2 people as Matthew Johnson and Christina Dixon, both reported missing out of Richmond earlier that week. Johnson was shot and stabbed, and Christina had been strangled. Court documents detail how multiple witnesses and the Richmond police helped connect this man, Dominique Washington, to the 2 victims. Richmond PD told Fort Wayne detectives Johnson and Dixon were both police informants in an investigation that led to a drug raid 2 weeks ago at a Richmond home where multiple narcotics were found. Court docs say Richmond police told detectives Dominique Washington went by Nico and was a known drug dealer with a connection to the raided house. Police used surveillance video and witness accounts to place Washington picking up Johnson at the Genesis apartment complex and then picking up Dixon from a Richmond home on Thursday. Monday night, Washington was arrested during a traffic stop as he tried to leave this home on Campbell Ave. Washington is now being held without bond, charged with murder and kidnapping in the deaths of both Johnson and Dixon. Dominique Washington's initial court hearing is set for Wednesday in Allen County Court. Reporting in Richmond, Eric Graves, Fox 59 News.
It is a sight to see the signs in front of this Cleveland Heights home after dealing with crash after crash.
We told you about one of those crashes back in 2021. Another happened in 2022. We went back last year to tell you about
a near miss. And a year later, the homeowner says he still feels like the city has not done enough to prevent this from continuing to happen. So, News 5's Adina Busada shows you now how he is taking matters into his own hands. Off South Taylor Road, there's flashing lights, a speed bump.
What's going to happen when a car going 85 miles an hour hits that speed bump?
And even rocks.
The city put those rocks in place as what they call temporary measure.
But for John Gow, it's still not enough to keep his home safe from erratic drivers.
I'm painting another sign. This sign's going to go somewhere with the one that says the cowards won't talk because they're chicken bleep mother froggers.
Gow bought his home in 1996, where the lawn now sits filled with signs at this intersection.
And again, they ignore the problem. The problem is right here. I'm the only one that's ever been hit.
That's because in the past 10 years, he says, 3 cars have crashed into it.
Well, the first crash actually took out my pickup truck that was parked in the driveway. I believe it was 2012.
The second was in News 5 covered a police chase that ended with a car in Gal's kitchen. Then another in 2022, taking out his garage.
This one is, I can't get homeowners insurance. I currently have insurance, but they've jacked the rates, and if I have one more claim, I'm being dropped.
Gal says his home used to have a guardrail in front of it, but in the early 2000s, it was removed, and the city won't put a new one in place.
They offered fair market value. Well, I don't have a mortgage. The house is paid off. What can I buy where I won't have to pay that's comparable to where I'm currently living?
All he wants is the peace of mind that a car won't come flying through his wall.
As far as I'm concerned, this house has a giant target on the side. And the city has done nothing to alleviate that.
Until he gets it, Gal plans to keep painting. And so do you think
because I don't know what else to do. It's cathartic.
This is where that guardrail used to be and where Gal wants to see a new one. He's hired an attorney and plans to keep adding signs until he sees some change or a response from the city. Now, we reached out to Cleveland Heights City Hall for a comment, and we're waiting to hear back. Reporting in Cleveland Heights, Adina Busana, News 5.
All right, Nadine tells us that she'll continue to follow through on this story, and be sure to let us know if there's a story that you want us to check on. You can fill out the form on our website, news5cleveland.com.
These all-in-one fancy financing plans by Credit Karma are what's trending. No cap.
Zero caps here, Stephen. Customized with your free credit scores, these plans have everything you need to manifest your money goals.
From credit cards to auto loans, high-yield savings accounts, and so much more. So go get that bag and give it a glow-up or whatever with Intuit Credit Karma, the all-in-one money app.
And welcome back to The Factor. I'm Uncensored. The Brazilian woman who went viral after refusing to give up her window seat to a crying child is suing the airline and the passenger who recorded her. This happened back in December. Let's take a look. 29-year-old Jennifer Castro says she booked a window seat in advance, and when she got on the plane, the child was in her seat. The boy threw a tantrum because he wanted to look out of the window and didn't want to move seats. The situation escalated when another passenger began filming. I talked to attorney Charles Adams about the lawsuit.
What I wanted to take a look at was, what are the implications if you do something like that in America? Because it's done all the time. People don't know who's videotaping them. People will videotape and put it on social media, and you will become the target of the public. Your thoughts on this? First of all, let's talk about Jennifer's case.
Well, her case is obviously specific to the torts that are available in the laws of Brazil, which are very, very different. There, obviously it arises from the Portugal common law, and they have claims that we don't have. In the United States, if you're in a public space or in a place that doesn't have rules against it, you're typically amenable to being filmed, right? We've seen a number of videos where people have aggressively told people to stop filming them, that they don't have their permission to film them. And we've even seen videos on social media where people call the police and say, hey, this guy is filming me. Right. And typically the police give the appropriate American well, you're in a public space and people are allowed to film. So the sad truth is privacy is dead. Right now, it's very different in this young woman who was a banker and is now a Instagram, TikTok influencer. Apparently, her Instagram blossomed to 2.1 million followers, and she left the banking industry. And it seems like it has been a net positive, a benefit to her. And if I was the attorney defending the filmer and the airline, I would say, hey, what are her damages? Now she's famous. Now she has all this revenue from other streams.
In fact, she owes my client now for making her payments.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the argument. Now, in Brazil, it does appear that you have to give permission to film people. So I do think she's got a valid claim there. I don't think she would have a valid claim here. Now, if the airlines wanted, they could prohibit it on the airline itself, on the aircraft, and then punish flyers who violate that rule. But I don't see them doing that, except maybe Spirit, out of just sheer embarrassment, right? But we are seeing
not Spirit, Charles. Not
well,
Spirit.
I mean, how many videos, how many things on Spirit have you done on this ship, right? I mean, people don't know how to act on Spirit. Spend some money, fly United, right? But ultimately, we've spent the last 20 years or so just raising a generation of grievance and entitlement, right? And when you look at this seat swapping epidemic, it's just gotten out of control. If you go to any airline subreddit or you look on social media, there's just story after story. I had a guy ask me, I fly in a very specific seat. I fly in the first row aisle on the left because I've got a bad knee and I like to be close. That's the most leg room. I had a guy ask me not once but twice, and I was, no, I'm not doing it, right? This is what I paid for. And Jennifer paid for her seat. And if you dig in deeper to the story, the most despicable part, the family that was shaming her and haranguing her, they weren't the filmer, but they were the one with the child, they had another window seat with an adult in it. They just didn't want to give up that. They wanted to take hers. And that's just what we're telling so many people nowadays, is that they're entitled to the things that other people have worked for or purchased, and that they have a valid grievance when they're not given it. And then this just coddled child screaming and yelling because they didn't get their way. I mean, come on, Quanell. We need to have some damn discipline and tell these kids life is not meant for you always to get your way. In fact, you've got to work hard to get your way, not just scream and cry.
All right, Charles, you've taken a dig at Spirit and Cornell, so I think we better stop here. Always good to see you here on The Factor Uncensored.
Are you ready to see the world, but you are overwhelmed with the stress of planning? What your ultimate break is going to take and make it happen. With over 120